I thought I was just living a normal life in Seoul until I met him again. My childhood little brother. He's not a kid anymore. He's a dominant alpha, and he's been watching me. The moment his scent touched me, my body changed, and my freedom disappeared. Now I'm trapped between obsession and rescue, and I have one question. Am I being saved or claimed? If you're into dark Omegaverse, possession, and psychological tension, this story starts now.
Inside the ambulance, the blaring siren was layered with the steady, rhythmic sound of a heart monitor. Sunwoo's mind felt heavy, as if it had sunk into a sticky swamp of mud. Whenever his eyes opened, all he saw was a white ceiling and the harsh stench of disinfectant stabbing at his nose. But beyond that sterile smell, an unpleasant yet sweet forest scent gripped Sunwoo's brain and shook it violently. "Sunwoo, please open your eyes." The voice beside him was Kang Min. Kang Min's hand was clamped tightly around Sunwoo's, strong enough to feel like a vice, yet within that strength there was a tremor he couldn't hide. Sunwoo let out a pained moan. Withdrawal was beginning so severe it felt like every bone in his body was sliding out of place. "Ah, Eunho, ah, Nung." About to spill Yoonho's name without realizing it, Sunwoo slapped a hand over his own mouth and curled in on himself. The mark Yoonho's pheromones had carved into him was thrashing inside his body. Watching it happen was torture for Kang Min. He had saved Sunwoo, and yet Sunwoo was still bound to that hellish scent, still suffering. The moment they arrived at the hospital, Sunwoo was moved straight into the intensive care unit. The detailed test results were horrific. The forcibly injected hormones and Yoonho's pheromones had fused with Sunwoo's nervous system. The attending doctor shook his head. At this point, this isn't simple drug addiction. His brain has been completely conditioned to a specific alpha's pheromones. Hearing those words from outside the room, Kang Min clenched his fist until it shook. From that day on, Kang Min never left the hospital room. On the third night, Sunwoo's fever spiked, and he began mumbling deliriously. "Don't find me." Sunwoo's body jerked as if seized by a convulsion. Without hesitation, Kang Min climbed onto the bed and pulled him into his arms. He restrained his dominant alpha pheromones as much as possible, trying to calm Sunwoo with nothing but steady warmth. "Sunwoo, I'm here. Yoonho isn't here. No one can touch you anymore." Kang Min's gentle voice brushed against Sunwoo's ear. Panting like a frightened animal in Kang Min's arms, Sunwoo very slowly began to settle. For the first time, he truly registered Kang Min's scent. Unlike Yoonho's cold forest smell, Kang Min's was comforting heavy cherry wood mixed with the scent of damp earth after rain. Sunwoo buried his face against Kang Min's chest, inhaling that fragrance, and fell into a brief, fragile refuge. In the early dawn hours after Sunwoo finally drifted off, Kang Min smoothed back Sunwoo's tangled hair. The man who had once been confident and kind was now reduced to a gaunt body that could only breathe properly inside Kang Min's arms. Kang Min had liked Sunwoo for a long time. Every time he watched Sunwoo get hurt while chasing dazzlingly handsome men, something inside him had burned, but he had never dared cross the line, never dared step beyond the boundary of being a colleague. But now, looking at this person broken by a monster named Yoonho, an unknown rage rose inside Kang Min along with a possessiveness that whispered, "I want to make him smile again, even if I have to make him mine to do it. I'll erase every trace Yoonho carved into him, no matter what it takes." Kang Min lowered his head and pressed a careful kiss to the back of Sunwoo's hand. As if he could feel Kang Min's warmth even inside his dreams, Sunwoo unconsciously tightened his grip around Kang Min's hand. It was the beginning of salvation. The silence inside the hospital room was torture for Sunwoo. The sound of rain tapping against the window warped in his ears, turning into a hallucination like the sharp, metallic scrape of a surgical scalpel Yoonho once used. Sunwoo's fingertips trembled. Yoonho's pheromones had lodged themselves deep inside Sunwoo's nervous system, spreading like poison beyond his own control. Sunwoo bit down on his lips until they turned pale. That was when the door to the room opened and Kang Min stepped inside. The warm scent of soup he brought with him covered the bitter sting of disinfectant. "Sunwoo, try to eat even a little. You've barely eaten since yesterday." Kang Min sat down in the chair beside the bed and carefully lifted a spoonful of soup. Sunwoo tried to shake his head, but Kang Min's eyes were too desperate for him to refuse. Each spoonful that slid down his throat forced Sunwoo to swallow back an emotion that surged up painfully. He didn't want Kang Min to see him like this, so pathetic, so broken. But right now, every single touch Kang Min offered was the only lifeline Sunwoo had. "Kang Min, do you think I can get better? Yoonho's smell won't leave my body. It feels like he's still touching me. At Sun Wu's trembling voice, Kang Min's hand stopped. Kang Min set the spoon down and covered Sun Wu's slender wrist with his own. The solid, burning heat in Kang Min's palm knocked against Sun Wu's hardened heart. It's okay. I'll erase it all for you. Everything that bastard left on your body is just a shell. I'll help you find your real scent again. Kang Min stared straight into Sun Wu's eyes. Inside those eyes, something different flickered, something that hadn't been there before. It wasn't simple pity, and it wasn't the concern of a colleague. It was a vow to protect Sun Wu, and a deep hunger that looked as though it might swallow him whole. Kang Min's office was in ruins, marked by several nights without sleep. On the screen were research papers about Jiechu enforced marking between an alpha and an omega, along with chemical analysis charts of illegal pheromone suppressants traded on the black market. This isn't something that can be undone by someone's will? Kang Min sank back into his chair with a grim expression. Every source said the same thing. What Yunho had injected into Sun Wu wasn't a simple drug. It was a biological prison, something that permanently restructured the hormonal system itself. Normal medical procedures couldn't undo it. The only solutions were the alpha who carved the mark had to die, or another dominant alpha had to overwrite the existing imprint with his own pheromones. But the overwriting process was dangerously risky. The existing imprint could resist and tear the omega's body apart, and forcefully flooding pheromones into an omega could bring extreme heat and pain. Kang Min reached out and traced Sun Wu's face on the screen. I have to make Sun Wu hurt again? With my own hands? When Kang Min returned to the hospital, his eyes were hollow. Sun Wu, who had been sitting on the bed staring out the window, noticed him and smiled. Even that smile trembled faintly, distorted by the afterimage Yunho had left behind. Kang Min, you're back? Sun Wu sensed it instinctively. Kang Min's pheromones were sharper than usual, denser, edged like a blade. Sun Wu's body reacted to Yunho's imprint and began forcing heat back up against his will. Hot blood surged low in his abdomen, and his breathing grew ragged. Sun Wu, are you getting hot? Kang Min hurried over and pulled him into his arms. Sun Wu clutched at Kang Min's shirt, panting. Yeah, Yunho, that bastard, it feels like he's still calling me. My body doesn't feel like mine. A tear slipped from Sun Wu's eye and ran down onto Kang Min's collarbone. Kang Min cupped Sun Wu's face and held his gaze. Sun Wu's seizure was starting again. The imprinting agent Yunho had used wasn't a simple drug. It was a living code, a biological program that forcibly synchronized Yunho's alpha pheromones with Sun Wu's omega hormones. Sun Wu's body arched like a bow. Tormented by the illusion of Yunho's scent tightening around his throat, he clawed at the bedsheets with his nails. Kang Min rushed in and held Sun Wu down, steadying him. Sun Wu, stay with me. Look at me, I'm here. Kang Min is right here. Kang Min wrapped Sun Wu tightly in his arms. He released his dominant alpha pheromones softly, surrounding Sun Wu with his own scent like a barrier. As the heavy fragrance of cherrywood closed around Sun Wu's frantic heartbeat only began to race even harder. Panting in Kang Min's arms, Sun Wu clutched at his shirt. Kang Min wiped Sun Wu's wet cheek with his thumb and pressed his forehead against Sun Wu's. Their breaths overlapped into one, and the hospital room filled with nothing but their harsh breathing. Kang Min tightened his arms around Sun Wu. The more Sun Wu slipped free of Yunho's shackles, the more Kang Min filled the empty space with his own warmth. Was this salvation or just another form of possession? Even Kang Min didn't know how dangerously fast his heart was beginning to run towards Sun Wu. In the hospital room, Sun Wu's fingertips suddenly went rigid as he drank the warm tea Kang Min had brought him. There was no warning at all. Sun Wu dropped the teacup to the floor, and with a sharp crash, his breathing turned ragged. Sun Wu, what's wrong? Kang Min hurriedly caught him, supporting him in panic. Sun Wu's eyes lost focus, drifting through empty space. Yunho is watching me. Kang Min, I think there's a camera in the room. Yunho, he can hear my voice. Trembling all over, Sun Wu shoved himself into the corner of the bed. Kang Min quickly scanned every part of the room, but there was nothing. A perfectly sterile isolation room, completely sealed off from any outside connection. And yet Sun Wu's fear was real. Kang Min realized it then. Yunho wasn't in the hospital room. Yunho was already inside Sun Wu's brain. He had planted something called fear, a kind of software, and it was running on its own. At the same time, Yunho sat in solitary confinement at the detention center with a calm expression, refusing even visitation, doing nothing but staring at the sky beyond the small window. He now stared blankly at a corner of a newspaper a guard had brought him. Yunho already knew. He knew Kang Min was chasing him. He knew Sunwoo was suffering in the hospital right now. He had already built a system that allowed him to remotely control the responses he had embedded inside Sunwoo's brain. Yunho left tiny marks on the newspaper pinprick holes like needle points. It was a code, derived from patterns of trivial memories he and Sunwoo had shared before Yunho was imprisoned. Leaning back against the wall of the cell, Yunho murmured softly, "Hyung, even when Kang Min is beside you, you can still smell me, right? That's because I imprinted my scent into every single one of your brain cells. The more you breathe in Kang Min's cherrywood, the stronger my forest scent will bloom. No matter how hard Kang Min tries, all he's doing is building a stage for me." Yuno didn't smile. Instead, he rubbed the scar carved into his wrist with his thumb. Like the cold strategist he had been at 13, the one who brought down an older cousin with ruthless precision, he began activating the trap designed so that the harder Kang Min tried to save Sunwoo, the more that salvation would become poison to him. Kang Min released more of his pheromones, trying to calm Sunwoo down. But the more Kang Min's scent touched him, the more Sunwoo suffered. "No, Kang Min, don't come closer. Inside your scent, I keep hearing that bastard smell mixed in. Kang Min, kill me. This would be better." Sunwoo's scream filled the hospital room. Kang Min wanted to hold Sunwoo and howl until his lungs tore apart. The more desperately he wanted to help, the more violently Sunwoo was haunted by Yunho's phantom. Instead of forcing Sunwoo into his arms, Kang Min simply stayed by his side and kept vigil through the night. Staring into the darkness beyond the window, he made a decision. Not to pull Yunho out of a physical prison, but to shatter the vicious psychological maze Yunho had designed. Kang Min reopened Yunho's past data. Why had Yunho become obsessed with Sunwoo to this extent? He began searching for the fundamental origin point, the source code of it all. Yunho's silence was not surrender. It was nothing but a teaser, an announcement that he was tightening the massive net he had cast around Sunwoo even further. Kang Min and Sunwoo and Yunho. The invisible war between the three had only just begun to raise its curtain on Act 2. Kang Min spent several days and nights analyzing the massive volume of raw data Yunho had left behind. Yunho hadn't simply locked Sunwoo up. He had recorded Sunwoo's every movement by time block, quantified Sunwoo's brainwave responses to specific stimuli, and completed something he called Sunwoo modeling. Is this data collected on a person? Kang Min stared through the screen as if he could bore a hole into it. Inside Yunho's data were entries about the incident Sunwoo experienced when Yunho was 11, down to the detailed environmental values from the exact moment Sunwoo had first shown him kindness. Yunho hadn't loved Sunwoo. He had recreated Sunwoo as a human being perfectly inside an algorithm, controlled him, and then observed the results like an experiment. Deep inside Yunho's code, Kang Min found a suspicious annotation that looked like an imprint release protocol. Root key 0816XX. It was Sunwoo's birthday and the date when Yunho had first begun orbiting Sunwoo's life. Hope surged through Kang Min. If he had this code, maybe he could forcibly reset the imprint planted inside Sunwoo's brain. Kang Min hurriedly accessed Yunho's data server and began entering the release code. On the screen, the word decrypting appeared, and the progress bar climbed by 1% at a time. Kang Min's fingertips shook. The idea that he could pull Sunwoo out of this hell blurred his rational judgment. But when the progress reached 99%, the monitor suddenly flashed red. Warning, unauthorized access attempt detected. Backdoor activated Trojan horse. A chill crawled up the back of Kang Min's neck. It was a trap. Yunho had prepared for the possibility of being imprisoned, planting a backdoor that would activate the moment anyone tried to forcibly access or manipulate the data. In the next instant, Kang Min's laptop began to spiral out of control. Yunho was tracing back into Kang Min's local network, deleting the data and personal information of other client companies one by one. The career Kang Min had built, and the assets of his company, were evaporating in real time. Even from inside detention, Yunho was sneering as he tore down Kang Min's social foundation, the very shield that had been Sunwoo's strongest protection. In the detention center's visitation room, Yunho sat behind a cold glass wall. Kang Min entered with a gaunt face. Because of the trap Yunho had set, Kang Min was already on the verge of being removed from his position at the company. "Why did you do it?" Kang Min growled low. Holding the visitation phone, Yunho answered in a calm, polite manner, almost courteous. "Kang Min, you wanted to save Hyung, didn't you? But I already backed up Hyung's memories. Every time Hyung looks at you and feels relief, my system accumulates logs in real time. The more you try to attack me, the more that data will be converted into betrayal inside Hyung's unconscious. Yunho's eyes were empty, but inside that emptiness, only a twisted possessiveness toward Sunwoo and toward himself was pulled taut like a wire. Kangmin, stop! Then Hyung can live without pain in my dream. But if you keep touching my code like this, Hyung's brain will destroy itself. Because he'll start believing that you're ruining him while trying to save him. When Kangmin rushed back to the hospital, Sunwoo was having another seizure. But this time, it was different. The moment Sunwoo saw Kangmin, he recoiled in terror and stumbled backward. Don't come closer, don't come, Kangmin. You're connected to Yunho. Why do I hear Yunho's data inside my head? Why do I hear his voice whenever I look at you? Yunho's trap had succeeded. The instant Kangmin touched Yunho's data, Yunho used that information in reverse, injecting Kangmin into Sunwoo's memory as Yunho's accomplice. Kangmin froze in place, unable to even reach out a hand. The more he tried to save Sunwoo, the more Sunwoo began to hate him, isolating himself deeper and deeper. For the first time, Kangmin truly understood the enormous terror that was Yunho. He stepped forward, trying to hold Sunwoo, but Sunwoo was staring at him and seeing the hallucination of fear Yunho had planted. Kangmin looked down blankly at his own hands. How could he fix this vicious logic error? In a situation where the person he loved had begun to equate him with the abuser, Kangmin whispered Sunwoo's name. But Sunwoo only covered his ears and screamed. Kangmin shut down dozens of monitors, relying on nothing but the small bedside lamp next to Sunwoo's bed. The method he chose was extreme. If he couldn't physically delete the digital code Yunho had left behind, then he would synchronize sync, his own dominant alpha pheromones directly with Sunwoo's brainwaves, overriding the malicious virtual space Yunho had built inside Sunwoo with Kangmin's territory instead. Sunwoo, I'm going to go inside you now. It might hurt a lot, and it might be terrifying. But trust me, follow me. Kangmin climbed onto the bed and carefully wrapped Sunwoo into his arms. Sunwoo was still trembling, still reacting as if Kangmin and Yunho were the same person. But Kangmin had nowhere left to retreat. He forced his alpha pheromones into Sunwoo's scent gland, pushing his presence in, refusing to be rejected. The instant their pheromones met, every light in the living room flickered at once. And like a wave crashing in, Kangmin's consciousness poured straight into Sunwoo's mind. Kangmin opened his eyes. This was not the real hospital room. It was the gray library Yunho had designed inside Sunwoo's unconscious. Shelves stacked to the ceiling held Sunwoo's entire life stored like digital data, filed and cataloged as if memory itself were a system. And at the center stood an illusion, the silhouette of Yunho, overlapping 13-year-old Yunho and Yunho in his 30s, layered together like a glitch that refused to resolve. Kangmin, you made it all the way here. How brave. Virtual Yunho smiled with ease. Kangmin tried to run toward Sunwoo, but the moment he moved, the data traps Yunho had planted erupted from the floor and bound Kangmin's limbs. This is my space. In here, he is programmed to remember only me forever. Pain tore through Kangmin's body. In the real world, blood spilled from his nose, soaking into the pillow. Inside the library, Kangmin lashed out with his pheromones like a whip, striking at Yunho's illusion. This isn't your paradise. These are his memories. Kangmin dragged up the memories etched closest to his own heart and raised them like a shield. The first time he saw Sunwoo and felt his chest tighten, Sunwoo's warm smile when they met again in their 30s. Those pure emotions untouched by calculation began to corrode Yunho's cold code piece by piece. The virtual space and the real room began to overlap in a warped double exposure. As Kangmin's pheromones completely wrapped around Sunwoo's body, Yunho's illusion inside the unconscious screamed and scattered like ash. Kangmin. In reality, Sunwoo called Kangmin's name. Kangmin's consciousness was still fighting Yunho's code at the very center of Sunwoo's mind. But in the real world, Kangmin moved on instinct, pulling Sunwoo close and pressing their bodies together with desperate urgency, leaving no space for fear to slip between them. Sunwoo, from now on, remember only my scent. I'll erase every trace of him. Kangmin lowered his mouth to the scar beneath Sunwoo's collarbone, the place Yunho had marked, and ground his vow into it like a seal. As the pheromone sync reached its peak, the imprint Yunho had carved and the imprint Kangmin was forcing clashed violently inside Sunwoo's body. Sunwoo cried out, nails biting into Kangmin's back pain and relief tangled together, like healing that demanded a price. Kangmin's touch guided Sunwoo through the storm, refusing to let him drown. And every time Kangmin anchored him, Sunwoo felt Yunho's voice inside his head growing fainter. In its place, Kang Min's heavy, warm cherrywood scent layered itself over everything thick, steady, impossible to shake. Sunwoo buried his face into Kang Min's shoulder and broke down, sobbing as the sensation of pleasure and recovery crashed through him in waves he couldn't control. Crash. The library of the unconscious began to collapse. It was the result of Kang Min burning the last of his strength to overwrite Yunho's central server, the root, with his own pheromones. Inside the virtual space, Yunho's illusion let out a desperate scream and started losing its shape, unraveling into fragments. Back in reality, Kang Min lost consciousness in Sunwoo's arms. Blood ran from Kang Min's nose and ears, and Sunwoo, soaked in sweat, was completely exhausted as well. But the scent filling the room had changed. Gasping, Sunwoo brushed back Kang Min's damp hair. Kang Min. Yunho's voice was gone now. Instead, Kang Min's warmth had filled Sunwoo's mind completely. But there was no way to know whether Yunho's code had been erased entirely. Because at the very last moment, Yunho had planted one more thing inside Kang Min's unconscious. Half asleep, Kang Min groaned and tightened his arms around Sunwoo's waist. Their bodies were now fully marked by each other's scent. And for the first time, Sunwoo began to realize, in the space where Yunho's imprint had been scraped away, something new named Kang Min was beginning to shake him just as violently. The hospital room was filled with nothing but silence. When Kang Min woke up after a week, the very first thing he did was search for Sunwoo. After confirming Sunwoo sleeping soundly in the bed beside him, Kang Min let out a breath of relief. Sunwoo, freed from Yunho's nightmare, looked far more peaceful than before. But Kang Min felt that something was wrong. His body didn't feel like it used to. His fingertips trembled faintly. And sometimes, strings of code he did not remember at all flickered through his mind like hallucinations. The final code Yunho had left behind had begun to parasitize Kang Min's unconscious. Kang Min. Sunwoo, waking up, looked at him and smiled brightly. It was the kind of free, unburdened smile only someone who had escaped a vicious shackle could make. Kang Min felt like he could do anything to protect that smile. Sunwoo, how do you feel? Are you okay now? Kang Min gently brushed Sunwoo's cheek, but deep inside Kang Min's eyes, a cold, mechanical light slipped through for a split second regardless of his own will. That night, thugs sent by Yunho's collaborators stormed into the hospital room. They were trying to kidnap Sunwoo again, to return him to Yunho's database. Sunwoo, get back! Kang Min subdued them with steady calm. But as the fight escalated, the Trojan horse planted in Kang Min's unconscious began to activate. In Kang Min's mind, the killing algorithm Yunho had designed started running automatically. Kang Min went beyond mere defense and subdued the attackers with extreme brutality. In front of Sunwoo, Kang Min twisted joints and choked off air the exact same way Yunho had done. Kang Min, stop! You'll kill someone! At Sunwoo's scream, Kang Min snapped back to himself. He staggered backward in horror, staring at the blood on his hands. Without realizing it, he had reproduced Yunho's violent methods almost perfectly. Yunho's collaborators reconfirmed Sunwoo's location and locked down the entire hospital. Holding Sunwoo now smeared with blood, Kang Min fled through the back exit and burst into the rain. Kang Min, it's because of me, isn't it? You becoming like this Yunho controlling you, it's all because of me. Sunwoo buried his face against Kang Min's chest and sobbed. Kang Min ran and ran again to protect him. Even knowing his mind was being eroded by Yunho's code, he couldn't abandon Sunwoo. No, Sunwoo. This was my choice. If it's for you, I don't care if my soul gets contaminated by Yunho's code. Just as Yunho had erased Sunwoo's life, Kang Min was also deleting his own humanity for Sunwoo. The two of them pushed through the rain, fleeing Yunho's pursuit toward a hiding place. Now they had become each other's only salvation, and at the same time, each other's only path to ruin. When they arrived at the hideout, they stripped off their wet clothes and relied on each other's warmth. Sunwoo traced the scarred landscape of Kang Min's back and whispered, Kang Min, thank you for letting me live as a person again. Kang Min held Sunwoo tightly. Between them, the thick scent of cherry wood mixed with wet earth, creating a strange, taut tension in the air. I love you, Sunwoo. This feeling is the one thing Yunho can't manipulate. It's only my truth. Kang Min pressed his lips to Sunwoo's. That kiss was the proof of love they found at the end of a desperate fight to survive. Even as Yunho's shadow continued to gnaw at their unconscious minds, the two of them listened for each other's heartbeat and marked each other again. But the deeper their love grew, The faster the collapse of Kangmin Yunho had designed was progressing down to the 10th of a second. Kangmin lay beside Sunwoo and traced his face with his eyes. Sunwoo was sleeping peacefully, but inside Kangmin there was a terrible noise. Thousands of lines of binary code were spinning like madness inside his head. Yunho's consciousness was beginning to seize Kangmin's language center. The self called Kangmin was growing faint, and into the empty space, something Yunho had designed, something wearing Kangmin's shape, was slowly moving in. Kangmin stared at his own hands, trembling. He was afraid these hands might threaten Sunwoo, afraid that he might hurt Sunwoo. That was when Sunwoo, half asleep, opened his eyes. A flicker of suspicion crossed Sunwoo's gaze as he looked up at Kangmin. "Kangmin? Why are you looking at me like that?" Kangmin opened his mouth to answer. But what came out was not Kangmin's voice. It was a low, damp, mocking laugh, Yunho's distinctive sound. Kangmin Hyung stepped out to sleep for a moment. How does it feel to hear the voice you hated so much? Sunwoo's face turned white with fear. He screamed and rolled off the bed, collapsing onto the floor. Yunho, borrowing Kangmin's body, looked down at him with icy eyes. Sunwoo curled up on the floor, shaking. Yunho, in Kangmin's face, stepped closer, lifted Sunwoo's chin, and forced him to look up. "My data should already be controlling your brain. And you still believe someone like Kangmin can save you?" The touch controlling Kangmin's body was nothing like Kangmin's usual gentle hands. It was cold, calculated, terrifyingly precise. But the moment Yunho pressed down on Sunwoo's lips, Kangmin's unconscious fought back. Yunho's will hesitated inside Kangmin's body just for a heartbeat. "Sunwoo, I'm sorry." Kangmin's real voice bled through. Yunho's malice and Kangmin's desperate love collided inside one body. Sunwoo grabbed Kangmin's face and broke down, sobbing. Wiping away the tears running down Kangmin's cheek, Sunwoo pressed his lips to his feeding warmth into the body Yunho was trying to control. "Kangmin, come back, please." Sunwoo's kiss wasn't simple affection. It was a desperate purification rite trying to push Yunho's code out with love. Sunwoo's pheromones wrapped around Kangmin's entire body. Kangmin lifted Sunwoo into his arms. Yunho's consciousness, confronted by Sunwoo's unbearable tenderness, went numb for a moment. Kangmin buried his face against the back of Sunwoo's neck and poured out his alpha pheromones once again. This time, it wasn't to erase Yunho, but to fuse Sunwoo and himself into a single, complete resonance. Kangmin's body was reaching its limit. Two consciousnesses were fighting inside him, as if they might tear him apart. "I can't hold on anymore." Kangmin gasped in Sunwoo's arms. Across his skin, Yunho's code was manifesting as physical pain, blooming into red blotches and scattered patches. "Kangmin, look at me. Don't forget me. You're not Yunho. You're my Kangmin, the one who saved me." Sunwoo tugged Kangmin's shirt open and placed a hand over his heart. Sunwoo relayered the traces of Yunho's mark still lingering in his own body, painting over them again and again with Kangmin's imprint. Yunho had hacked Sunwoo's brain, but Sunwoo was imprinting Kangmin's soul into his own body. Their pheromones mixed in real time, heating the air of the room until it felt like it might ignite. Was this healing or self-destruction? Sunwoo felt that Yunho's malicious code flowing through Kangmin's body was slowly dissolving, piece by piece, under the pressure of Sunwoo's love. After Yunho's consciousness finally retreated completely, Kangmin lay unconscious for several days. Sunwoo stayed by his side and checked every file Kangmin had left behind. And then he found it. To erase Yunho's planted code completely, they would have to forcibly connect Kangmin's brain to Yunho's server and blow the entire system apart from the inside. It was a gamble that could kill Kangmin. But Sunwoo decided he would not run anymore. Holding Kangmin's hand, he murmured quietly, "We're going to end this. Kangmin, now it's my turn to save you." Sunwoo opened Kangmin's laptop and began injecting his omega pheromones into the root key Yunho had hidden. This was suicide, a plan to synchronize Yunho's system with Sunwoo's own body, so that when Yunho's server attacked Sunwoo's mind, the entire network would overload and burn itself out. The moment Sunwoo synchronized Kangmin's system with his own body and began forcing an overload into Yunho's server, an alarm blared through the central control room of the detention center. Yunho knew. That alarm was the signal that Sunwoo had personally infiltrated his paradise to destroy it. During his time in custody, Yunho had quietly hacked into the detention center's aging security network, wiring it piece by piece when he had the chance. The lights flickered, and the electronic locks released all at once. "Hyung, you're coming to me. To break my system." Yunho coldly knocked a guard unconscious and scaled the outer wall. He already knew. He knew exactly where Sunwoo was hiding and what kind of deadly gamble Kang Min was making. Cutting through the rain, Yunho headed toward his base, the place where he had imprisoned Sunwoo. Apartment 302. Inside, the final backup server of all his data was still running. Back in the real hospital room, Sunwoo was fighting like a man at war in front of the monitor. Ugh! A thick stream of blood ran from Sunwoo's nose. Yunho's server was absorbing Sunwoo's pheromones in reverse, chewing through Sunwoo's mind along with them. Sunwoo's body was growing colder by the second, but the consciousness of Kang Min lying beside him was slowly returning to its proper place. Sunwoo, please stop. At this rate, you'll die. Kang Min, awake now, tried to grab Sunwoo, but Sunwoo was resolute. If I stop now, Yunho will come for us again. We have to cut this cycle here. Sunwoo's pheromones reached deep into Yunho's server, touching the memory data from the day 13-year-old Yunho first met Sunwoo. That place was Yunho's only weakness, the original form of emotion he had hidden most preciously of all. On a night of pouring rain, the door to apartment 302 was thrown open violently. It was Yunho. He brushed back his wet hair as he stepped into the living room. The light of the synchronized server running on Kang Min and Sunwoo's link cast a warped glow across Yunho's face. Sneering, Yunho opened his laptop. The more Kang Min and Sunwoo tried to delete him, the more their own memories and consciousness would be erased with him. That was how the structure had been built. Hyung, Kang Min, you're both so stupid. If Hyung wants to kill me, he has to wipe out his own memories too. In the end, we vanished together like this. Yunho forcibly executed a full runaway surge across his entire data and server load. Inside apartment 302, electronic devices overheated and began spewing smoke. Kang Min hurled himself at Yunho. Don't touch Sunwoo! The final hand-to-hand battle between two dominant alphas began. Kang Min crushed his hand around Yunho's throat. Yunho stabbed Kang Min's wounded side with a scalpel. Blood spilled across the living room floor. Even in pain, Yunho smiled with madness. Watching Kang Min and Yunho tangled together in the living room, Sunwoo tried to press the enter key to execute the server command. But in that instant, the final security device Yunho had installed activated. The moment Sunwoo detonated the synchronized server, every memory of Kang Min stored inside Sunwoo's brain would be classified as a virus and deleted. Yunho shouted at Sunwoo, "Press it, Hyung! If you press it, you'll die without even knowing who Kang Min is. I'll erase Kang Min from your memories." Bleeding, Kang Min shouted back at Sunwoo, "Sunwoo, don't press it. I don't care if my memories disappear, but you have to live." With Kang Min's voice and Yunho's mockery colliding in the air, Sunwoo placed his trembling hand over the keyboard. Tears from Sunwoo's eyes fell onto the keys. He looked at the two alphas Kang Min and Yunho and slowly but unmistakably made his decision. In the living room of apartment 302, the server fans screamed as they spun. Even while bleeding and choking Kang Min, Yunho turned toward Sunwoo with a crazed smile. "Press it, Hyung. The moment you press it, the name Kang Min will be formatted out of your head forever. All you'll have left is my imprint." Sunwoo's finger trembled over the execute key. Forgetting Kang Min erasing with his own hand, the only light that had pulled him out of hell gnawed at Sunwoo's soul with terror. But then Sunwoo looked into Kang Min's eyes. Blood-soaked, shaking his head at Sunwoo, and yet those eyes begged like they were saying, "It's okay, Sunwoo. Even if you forget me, I'll find you again." "No, Eunho. You're wrong." Sunwoo's voice was calm. "Memory isn't data. My body, my heart remembers this man. No matter how much you delete code, my pheromones will keep running toward Kang Min." "Tap!" Sunwoo slammed the execute key down. In that instant, every monitor in the server room flashed white. A violent electric signal shot through Sunwoo and Kang Min's nervous systems. Yunho's algorithms, the conditioned reflex and forced imprint systems he had designed couldn't endure the overload. They burned out with a ripping crackle, collapsing into static. "No, my paradise, my Hyung!" Yunho screamed and clung to the server main unit. But it was already too late. The love data Sunwoo had injected set fire to Yunho's lifelong accumulation of cynical code. Yunho crumpled empty and ruined. When the data of Sunwoo he had obsessed over vanished, Yunho had nothing left. Kang Min used the last of his strength to shove Yunho away and ran to Sunwoo. "Sunwoo, stay with me, Sunwoo!" Sunwoo stared into empty space with unfocused eyes. As Yunho's malicious code was deleted, Sunwoo's memory circuits had fallen into temporary shock as well. Kang Min clutched Sunwoo to him and broke down sobbing. The high-frequency scream and electric shock released when the server in apartment 302 detonated did not burn only Yunho's code. It also wrapped itself in white heat around the delicate neural networks inside Sunwoo's brain, the ones responsible for memory. On the hospital bed, Sunwoo slowly opened his eyes. The afternoon sunlight pouring in through the window was painfully bright. Sunwoo blinked and stared up at the ceiling. Nothing came. He couldn't remember who he was, why he was lying here, or even the 3 syllables of the name Lee Sunwoo. Even that name drifted in the air like a foreign word he had never heard before. Sunwoo? A trembling voice reached him. Sunwoo turned his head. A man was sitting beside the bed, hollow-eyed, as if he hadn't slept in days, unshaven, with eyes holding a sadness too deep to name. It was Kang Min. Sunwoo stared at him quietly. His mind rejected him. His brain cells screamed, a stranger. I don't know him. But the moment the man took Sunwoo's hand, Sunwoo's body reacted first. Thump. His heart, which had felt stalled, began a strange vibration. Warm blood returned to the tips of his cold fingers. Sunwoo frowned in confusion. Who are you? Do you know me? A single heavy tear fell from Kang Min's eye onto the back of Sunwoo's hand. It was hotter than Yunho's obsession and carried a wave stronger than any drug in the world. Instead of answering, Kang Min pressed Sunwoo's hand to his own cheek. You don't have to know. Now don't remember anything. All those painful things, you can forget them. Kang Min's voice was wet, and yet inside it there was a strange relief. If Sunwoo had forgotten Yunho, then the happy memories he had shared with Kang Min would have vanished too. But at least Sunwoo was finally free from that hellish fear. After Sunwoo was discharged, Kang Min took him to a secluded mansion where no one knew them. Sunwoo ate the meals Kang Min cooked, wore the clothes Kang Min chose, and lived while listening to the unmanipulated past Kang Min carefully told him. But Sunwoo's eyes always looked hollow, like something was missing behind them. Kang Min. Sunwoo had learned to say Kang Min's name now. But it wasn't a name called by memory. It was something Kang Min had taught him to say. Sometimes Sunwoo would stare blankly at his reflection in the mirror, focusing on the back of his neck. There, faintly, was a scar that looked rubbed raw and blurred. Why is it like this? Was I hurt? Each time, Kang Min would come up behind him and hold him tight, pressing his lips over the scar. No, it's just a trace left by a bad dream. I'll cover it all for you. Kang Min released the thick scent of cherrywood and wrapped Sunwoo in it. Every time Kang Min's scent touched him, Sunwoo surrendered to a pleasure and relief he couldn't resist. Even if his mind couldn't remember, Sunwoo's Omega instincts recognized Kang Min as his only owner. Was this salvation? Or was it another variation of what Yunho had done? Kang Min didn't ask himself. He only wanted to fill Sunwoo's empty eyes with himself. On a night when moonlight poured down, Kang Min laid Sunwoo on the bed. Sunwoo looked up at him with innocent eyes. Without memories, Sunwoo was far more fragile than before someone who clung only to Kang Min's touch, as if nothing else in the world existed. Kang Min, when I smell you, my heart feels strange. I'm sad, but I feel good. At Sunwoo's confession, something fine and dangerous trembled in Kang Min's reason. Kang Min loosened Sunwoo's shirt and flooded the air with his pheromones, leaving no room for anything else. Sunwoo curled his arms around Kang Min's neck and let out a helpless sound. Kang Min. Kang Min held him close and marked him again in the only way his body and instincts knew, sealing Sunwoo to him with overwhelming scent and heat, until there was no space left for any other shadow to breathe. Sunwoo's mind couldn't retrieve a single fragment of his past with Kang Min, but Sunwoo's body remembered him. Kang Min kept whispering love against Sunwoo's ear. It was less a message meant for Sunwoo than a spell Kang Min was casting to soothe himself. Sunwoo, I'm sorry and thank you. The next morning, Sunwoo woke up in Kang Min's arms. He traced Kang Min's sleeping face with his fingers and murmured, "We knew each other for a very long time, didn't we?" Kang Min, waking, smiled and kissed Sunwoo's hand. Yes, we were people who loved each other very much. Sunwoo nodded, but tears gathered at the corner of his eyes without him understanding why. That hollow ache in his chest, like something had been carved out, Sunwoo would never fully know where it came from. Yunho was gone and the trap was broken. But Sunwoo was now imprisoned inside a new labyrinth, a white paradise Kang Min had created. Kang Min blocked everything with absolute thoroughness so Sunwoo couldn't recover his memories, so he couldn't contact the outside world. From now on, Sunwoo would live believing only the stories Kang Min told him were his history. The truth had turned to ash with the burned server, and all that remained were two people addicted to each other's warmth. Outside the window, snow began to fall, like pure white snowflakes covering every trace. Sunwoo's past was erased the same way, forever. And the story ended with a final period of silence. Hi, this is Soul Muse. Thank you so much for listening until the end. The story I shared today is an Omegaverse fantasy. You can still understand today's episode even if you haven't watched Chapter 1. But if you're curious about how Sunwoo and Yoonho first met, and why Sunwoo ended up carrying this trauma, please check Chapter 1 through the link. Everything you heard is an original story I created myself, written and produced in my small studio. I'll be back with more intense and exciting stories soon. Please support me with a like and subscribe, and visit my other platforms through the link in my profile. See you in the next story. Thank you.